and come up here, and your view is the little sign that my dad asked Bob to make, and Bob made this sign that says Lake Louise, and it's got a nice imitation fish there to give you the idea that Lake Louise is a fishing place. My dad stocked all these ponds with all kinds of fish from the fish that he caught at the lake, and he'd bring them home and dump them in the pond. So he's got some bullheads, and he's got smallmouth bass, and all kinds of stuff in those ponds, lots of minnows. This is our property line on the east side of our property, and our neighbor just recently purchased that from a guy that used to own it. And then as we go around number 3 pond, as you can see, its water level is a little bit low during this time of the year. If we don't get a lot of rain, that water level goes down. In the springtime, it's pretty much right at the bank there, top of the bank, but as summer goes along, it dries up a little bit, so usually doesn't get much lower than that. And then all that property behind there, those woods, my dad owns all those, 38 acres. And when he had the pond built, the last pond dug, there was quite a bit of dirt that came out of there, as you can imagine. So he asked the guy, or the guy said that had the bulldozer, he said, "What do you want me to do with all this dirt?" And my dad said, "Why don't you just push it? This road that goes back there, but it's always too wet to use. So why don't you just start pushing it and build that road up about 3 feet going back?" So that's what they did. And they kind of made a nice little raised road back there. We're panning back to the house. That's the house way in the back there. As you can see, Lake Louise is quite large as ponds go. So we're gonna actually head down that road, and you can see it kind of peeking to the right there. So the guy that dug the pond just kept pushing that dirt back and leveling it out, and he did a beautiful job. It's nice and pretty much flat, but it's about 3 feet higher than the rest of the land back there, so it stays pretty dry during the all year long. You can actually go back there. I've been working on that road for a couple years now, trying to keep it clear and keep it mowed and pick up the rocks and keep it so that it's something you can actually enjoy. I really enjoy going back there, and I love taking people back there to show them. You never know what you're going to see back there. The first time I went back, I saw a nice big deer and all kinds of wildlife back there. And the nice thing about going back there with a golf cart, it's just not a gasoline engine, it's electric. So it's very, very quiet. Usually doesn't disturb too many, the animals. They kind of ignore it. So it's kind of a nice way to peek in on Mother Nature and see what she's doing back there. As you can see, the area that's not the road is pretty well overgrown and lots of trees and brush. It's pretty hard to get back there if you're not on the road there, but it's great for hunting because you can lots of trees to hide behind, and there's actually a couple tree houses back there where you can get up and watch the deer go by, and when you see one that you like, you can just take it home and have venison stew all year long. My dad hasn't caught any deer or shot any deer back there in a long time, but my nephew Bobby has gotten deer back there. He got 1 or 2 last year, and my next door neighbor Rick on the right of this video, I think he said he got 4 or 5 deer last year, he and his friends. So It's got lots of venison back there. It's a real pretty peaceful walk, or a nice relaxing peaceful drive back here to check out Dad's little paradise that he built. We're going to just go back to the end of this road, which is almost probably all the way near the end of the property, and then we're just going to turn around and come back. If you're getting sleepy after all this video, I won't feel bad if you turn it off at this point, but it's just a lot of trees. Kind of thought you might enjoy seeing what you can see back here. It's I didn't really look for deer, but who knows, there might be a deer in one of these shots here. It's a real pretty and green and lush, all kinds of plants, and just so beautiful back there. Here's the end of the road. Actually, the road continues on, but this is the end of the part that our bulldozer guy that did the pond, as far as he went with the dirt. So we'll make a U-turn here. Lots of ash, oak, all kinds of lumber back there. There's a lot of potential income from wood if anybody ever wanted to start clearing the land and selling the lumber. Here's our trip back. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit to the side here, and I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll just see, get a different perspective. There we go. So now look hard. If you see a deer, let me know. But even if you don't see a deer, it's still pretty. It's still a beautiful place to be. You'll see some open areas, more open than others, and some that are real thick, and I bet the deer just love it back there, being able to move around and graze and eat leaves, whatever they want to do. They've got lots of possibilities back there. Got turkey back there, and wild turkey, and all kinds of stuff. There's a nice little open area there, opened up a little bit. As you can see, there's lots of trees. I do remember when my brother Mike and I were very young, when we first moved out here, we decided to be very adventurous one day, and we walked back there, probably about as far as we are back there in the video right now. And we just thought it was wonderful and great. We decided we'd make a special secret place to come to and come back there and have all kinds of fun, when all of a sudden we thought we saw this huge white bird just jump up in the middle of right in front of our faces, about 20 feet from us, and fly away. And after we ran back, we were scared to death and told our dad. He said, what you probably saw was the back end of a white-tailed deer. And then the more we thought about it, and he explained what he thought it could be, we agreed that that's what we saw. We startled the deer and got a real good view of his hasty retreat from our secret area that we thought was so secret. So I don't think we went back there again for a while. We were kind of scared, so I think we look for other ways to have adventure. It's a long road back there. Just a beautiful, beautiful way to enjoy nature. I've gone back several times with a chainsaw and cut up some of the trees that fell in the middle of the path there, and cleaned out the path to keep it open. So it's looking pretty good right now. Turn the camera back towards the front so you can see our approach to where we came in. And here we're coming toward the road meets up with Lake Louise here. As you can see, it's a little bumpy, but not too bad for a dirt road. So here we are coming back up to where Lake Louise is. Someday I'll probably clean out more of this to have a bigger entrance, but the way it is right now, the entrance is kind of zigzag there, so when you come to it, you don't realize that there's a road until you take that little turn around the bend here. So as we come up the road, you see that's one of my neighbor's house. And if you look real hard, you see our house, that red colored house in the middle there. That's us, I think. And we're coming up to the north bank of Lake Louise. And there we are, back into the open area. So now we're going to just kind of head around Lake Louise. This is a favorite place for my neighbor Bob's 2 German Shepherds to come and play. They just love to go back there. They run all over and they love to go swimming, and they really do enjoy the water a lot. This bank area here is where one of the favorite spots for my dad when we used to go out and feed the fish, because when we go out in the afternoon, the sun would be behind us, so there wasn't much of a reflection on the water, and you could see really good into the water and see all the fish. You probably would never believe how friendly those fish are. As soon as my dad would start throwing food in there, they'd come all swimming up to the edge just like puppies coming to get their treats, and they just have a ball eating that fish food. So here we are coming back up around number 2 pond. That's my neighbor Bob's house on the right, and it's our house in the middle up there. And that red structure on the side of the house is a pole barn. That's a 30 by 60 foot pole barn that my dad had built to keep all of his tractor and all of his equipment and everything. He's got a couple tractors, a small one that I use now, and an old big Oliver tractor that he hadn't probably used in years. And that little structure there in the middle of the video is a little spring house. That's a well that my dad had dug. It's just a natural well. Doesn't have to go very deep. I think the water actually comes up about 4 or 5 feet from the ground level, and he used to use that to provide water for gardening. And believe it or not, he actually had a pump running when the ponds got low, and that spring is a natural fed spring from that runs for miles and miles, and he just happened to hit it just right. So even when the ponds are low, that spring is still providing water, and he used to fill up the ponds with it. So that's a useful thing he got there. Here's the back of the house that you're looking at. That corner on the walkout white part is actually the apartment. So underneath the deck is the entryway that you haven't seen, but when we went into the apartment, we were already in that little entryway. And here's the big window that we saw over the couch. And so we're gonna pull in and check out look inside and see if we can see Nadine and Bill. I can't see. Well, that's me waving.